Hey everybody, welcome back. This is part 2 of my Sunset Beach tumbler. So this is the part where I'm going to show you how to do the waves on the cup. So before we do the waves, I am just going to put a thin layer of epoxy on the cup. And I also went ahead and I made myself a 30-ounce skinny version of this Sunset Beach tumbler as well. I wanted to see what it would look like on a different style, and I actually absolutely loved the way it turned out, and I'll go over that in a second. So for those of you, if you're new, when we put alcohol inks on a tumbler, you want to make sure that there's a thin layer of epoxy underneath the alcohol inks so that the inks will move. If you don't have enough epoxy on there, then they're just kind of going to stop and not really make a wave looking texture like we want. But you don't want to put a very thick layer of epoxy. It's just super thin. And so that's what you're seeing that I'm doing there. And I'm going to come in with my heat gun. I'm going to thin it out a little bit with the heat gun, but also pop any bubbles that may have happened when I mixed the epoxy or when I put the epoxy on the cup. So you can see that's what I'm doing right now. And make sure, guys, you're not super close. It kind of looks like I'm right on top of the tumbler. I'm not. I'm pretty far away. So here I'm going to come in with alcohol ink called Snow, and this is going to be white, and that's what's going to give me the effects of waves. So I'm just going to come in and I'm going to drop little bits of alcohol ink around the areas where I want the waves to be, and then I'm going to use a popsicle stick and I'm going to move it around a little bit. It doesn't always work the way I want it to. Alcohol ink has a mind of its own. As if you've ever used it, you know that. So first I'm going to use the popsicle stick, and then I'm going to come in with my heat gun, and I'm going to blow it around a little bit, and you're going to see that some of the alcohol inks are going to create cell-like looking things, and it almost looks like little bubbles that you might find from waves along a beach. And so as you can see, it's kind of not doing what I wanted to. And rather than editing this out, I want to show you guys that it is not a perfect process and you have to just keep going until you get it right. So I'm just adding some more alcohol ink and hoping for the best. Okay, I'm going to go over to the 30-ounce skinny tumbler in a second, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to blow it around with my heat gun still a little bit more. And that'll give you some good movement on the inks. So I'm going to let that spin a little bit. I think I'm playing with it too much. I should just let it go. Okay, here I am on the 30-ounce skinny doing the same thing. I actually think I like the way this one turned out a little bit more. It does have a couple more colors, and I think it was called Jojoba. I could be wrong. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it is from Peachy Olive Glitter. And whoops, I knocked over my camera. Rather than editing that out, I thought that maybe I should keep this in to show you guys that I make mistakes. And if you make mistakes, it's cool, and just keep going. So I tried to show you by picking up my camera after it fell what I'm doing with the alcohol inks. But after a while, I decided that this wasn't working very well, and I eventually will stop with this and let it spin for, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes before I came back to show you this next part. And so this is what it looks like after spinning for about 30 minutes, and you can see that it evened out a little bit. It's super pretty. I can't wait for it to dry so that I can maybe put a decal on it. Not really sure. If you liked this, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment letting me know what you thought, and if you have any other suggestions that you want me to do.